loved Tyra. Like, we would watch Tyra do absolutely horrible things. Know they were horrible, but somehow still believe in her. She was such a boundary breaker, and she kind of was in, she was on Fresh Prince. Mm-hmm. She was in Life Size. Thank you. She played a living black Barbie.
A literal black Barbie.
Do you not think watching that as a child, you were like, oh, this is an important... This is a culture.
This is an important piece of media.
She is Nelson Mandela for light-skinned bitches. Like she
was the original green-eyed bandit.
Yes! Hi, my name is Sharia.
I'm Aria.
And this is The Strapdown. The Strapdown is a black queer femme podcast.
Hosted by two black queer femme comedians.
Where we talk about black queer femme stuff.
Comedically.
But today is a very special one. We've been on a run of reviews.
Yes.
And today we're on the runway of reviews.
Okay, fine.
That's right. I am a copywriter. Hit me up.
For real though. Like, hit her.
I got 3 jobs and I need 2 more to survive. We are going to review Reality Check, the America's Next Top Model story.
Na 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 na. You want to be on top?
We are millennials. And we are black millennials. So America's Next Top Model was required viewing, mm-hmm. and it absolutely scarred us for life.
If you watch the podcast, you have heard us reference Tyra giving us body issues, like, all the time. Anytime we mention, like, oh my God, I'm a little, look at all these fat
like, hey, that's Tyra in your head. That's Tyra in your head. You gotta get the Tyra out your head. Like, for real though, mm-hmm. for real, it's a joke, but it's like not a joke.
It's not a joke. Like, growing up in the early 2000s.
You really went through it. The thing is, like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like for black girls in particular, it was an interesting way for a lot of that thinspo to get to the black community. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know, that wasn't really a thing for us.
I think,
as much. Of course, we're fat phobic, of course. The community is, of course, fat phobic. But
I think it is different, and it is different. There is, like, black people skinny, and I think there's a white people skinny.
Yes.
And, like, how we approach skinniness in the black community is vastly different.
Yes.
Because I remember, a fun fact about me, I was going to go on Top Model. I had the application. I loved Top Model. Oh, my God. And I'm tall. I don't know. You can't tell.
Bitch. What happened?
Okay, so I had the application and I was filling it out. Number one, I did not think my family would appreciate me talking about some of our family issues and airing it out.
And you have to do that.
That's do that. Requirement. The other part was I actually watched the show. And okay. And I, at that time, in the black community, I was considered, like, very skinny and slim. I was, like, I'm about, like, 5'9", 5'10" on a good day if I stretch and do some whatever. But, like,
What? Okay, well, let's
if I just decompress my spine, I might be able to hit 5'10". I had always been, like, made fun of for being, like, very, you don't have no booty, you don't have no ass or whatever. So I had always been told I was, like, really, really skinny. Even though I was, like, a size, at my healthiest being skinny, I was, like, a size 6. At my unhealthiest, like, borderline ED, like, I was only a size 4, you know?
I was a size 4 once.
Yeah?
I was miserable.
I was awful, like, taking laxative, like, I was really...
How old were you when you were about to,
I think maybe 18 or...
Oh, Jesus, God!
I was really young. Yeah. I was really young, stupid.
Yeah.
That's why I was considering it.
Yeah.
And I saw some models, and I saw how I realized, like, looking at the application, that I would either have to lose even more weight to be considered, like model size, or I would have to gain weight to become plus size. And at that time, I was fat phobic, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to be gaining weight. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think even at my unhealthiest, the smallest I could get down to was a size 4. And that was still, like, if you watch Top Model, they was still going to be calling me Porky or whatever.
Were. I'm sorry. Like, they sure were. They were going to find something.
They were going to find something.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, no, I can't do it. Because, like, I'm too in between sizes, and I don't think it's physically possible for me to get any skinnier. and I was too scared to gain weight.
You were saved. You were saved. Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That, although I gotta say, it'd be a much better episode if you actually had like hands-on.
Yeah, I met Tyra Banks.
That's right. Time. Yeah, I remember. It was just,
she yelled at me too.
That's right. Just like
she was rooting for me too.
You just hear war helicopters. You just start rocking back and forth. Exclusive.
Anytime I hear heels clacking on a runway, I get PTSD. I can't hear it anymore.
I know. Oh God. Wow. Okay. No.
Yeah.
I never even considered signing up for America's Next Top Model. I'm not crazy, but the thing about Next Top Model that they before we get into it though, like the thing about Next Top Model is that it was very diverse. Mm-hmm. You know, it was very diverse, and it was like it was seen as this opportunity. This opportunity to like make it in the modeling world.
Yeah, it was like the rap game for models.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You trying to get your mama out the hood. Top Model.
Except Top Model was the worst 360 deal you could ever. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into this. First of all, spoiler alert for the documentary, and trigger warning for the things that happen, and we'll also try to expound on it with some like cultural references. So the documentary kind of opens on 2020. And it's 2020, and everybody's inside rewatching America's Next Top Model with the eyes of our like socially conscious world that we had for 5 minutes in 2020. And that's when like I guess the internet started talking, mm-hmm. having these conversations about how evil, because like I think also people who had never watched the show before watched it for the first time, especially younger people, and were like, what the and then I know who definitely watched it, the guy who created Squid Game. He was like, I have a banger idea. I'm about to do it way better than Tyra.
I could not imagine watching Top Model for the first time with these eyes. Yes. Because there were moments in the show where we're like, even when we're watching it, we're like, I don't know if having them race swap is a good idea.
And I'm gonna go with do it twice. but you're like, you know what? That's modeling. Tyra know what modeling is.
Tyra wouldn't lead us wrong. So of course you have to play a model that got OD'd in a hallway.
Oh my God, we'll get there. But yeah. Yes.
So I can't imagine watching it now. And then it started coming back up again, and so people are getting upset for the first time.
Yes, and Tyra had never had to answer for her crimes ever.
No.
Tyra was never held
accountable. She left the country.
She got a fake Harvard degree and started scamming people.
And now she's slinging ice cream in Australia right now. Like,
that's also a scam, by the way. But so then they kind of were like, Tyra, where's Tyra? And she's like, I'm here.
Her trench coat.
I'm here to answer your questions. I'm ready now. She's so like immediately off rip, so obviously performative, which she always was.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think y'all understand that we loved Tyra. Like, we would watch Tyra do absolutely horrible things, know they were horrible, but somehow still believe in her because she was one of the only ones.
Yeah. We were like, she's making a difference.
Yes.
She's changing the view of models and the modeling industry. Like, we believed her.
We really, really, really did.
You know, because she was dope as fuck on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Thank you. They try to contextualize Tyra in the culture, but I think they do it more so for the mainstream culture. Mm-hmm. But I gotta tell you, as a black woman of a certain age, Tyra Banks, from like the time that you opened your eyes for the first time, Tyra Banks and Naomi Campbell were the only two black women. And then Iman, Tyra, and Naomi that was it.
That was it.
That was it. And she was such a boundary breaker, and she kind of was in she was on Fresh Prince. Mm-hmm. She was in Life Size. Thank you. She played a living black Barbie.
A literal black Barbie.
Do you not think watching that as a child, you were like, oh, this is an important This is a culturally...
This is an important piece of media.
She is Nelson Mandela for light-skinned bitches. Like, she
was the original Green-Eyed Bandit.
Yes!
Like...
I don't think y'all understand.
Sports Illustrated.
That Sports Illustrated covers
Victoria's Secret.
Yes.
And she was also like seeing her career evolve from being that like super high fashion to having commercial success.
Yes.
Was unheard of for a black model.
She had a talk show. She had a talk show, a daytime talk show. Y'all remember that show was huge.
I wanted to go on the Tyra show so bad.
Me too. All I wanted to do was be an audience member on the Tyra show.
I wanted to be famous so I could be her. That's the only reason why. I want to go on the Tyra show. That's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Like, the Tyra show was the most unhinged.
Oh my God.
Unhinged, like, daytime television. I think Tyra's the reason Beyonce don't do press no more. Because
that interview with Beyonce is one of the funniest things.
Beyonce, what's your favorite type of cheese? I love cheese. Really? So, oh my God.
Slayonce.
Beyonce, midway.
Crayonce. What's your favorite crayon color?
You literally see Beyonce like, I'm going inside and
like,
I'm never giving these pieces. I'm
also,
never doing anything.
Also, the interview between Tyra and Naomi.
When she had the audience, she
got rid of the audience.
Just so Naomi could walk out to like...
just silence. Just click.
So please help me welcome Naomi Campbell.
It's so weird because it's so quiet.
I know.
Like, she was like, she would, remember she put on the fat suit?
I will never forget that fat suit.
And the homeless one. Like, it was so...
The homeless one is so funny because everybody knew who she was. So she'd be walking down the street like, oh, hello. And they'd be like, are you Tyra Banks?
Like, her forehead is not trademarked. Like, come on.
Excuse me, sir. Can we have some change? I feel kind of weird right now. Yeah.
I remember the Tyra show was where Tyra came to settle disputes.
Yes.
The Wayans brothers one time made a joke on the Wayans brothers about her forehead. She made them Negroes come to her show and apologize for a joke they wrote in 1991.
Yes. Oh, don't forget to kiss my fat ass.
Kiss my fat ass.
I have one thing to say to you. Kiss my fat ass.
That was the original Don't Tell the Newspapers I Was Mad. Yes. Don't write it in the newspaper I was mad.
And I remember watching that, like, Kiss My Fat Ass as, like, a kid, and I was like, yes, queen, I will die for you.
No,
I was like,
I remember that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Also,
I think I did cry.
I cried watching that.
Yes.
Mostly because of laughter, because a lot of it was not like, my body at any size is beautiful. It was, they made me look fatter than I actually am.
Because if I turn to the side and do like this.
Yes!
And then I'm back.
All right, I want to look at some other pictures that were taken the same day, the exact same day, but in a different swimsuit. All right, I want you to look at my midsection right here. I think it's pretty smooth, pretty flattering, but I want you to look at this next photo.
That's right.
She never acknowledged that. It was an ugly ass bathing suit, number one.
That's another thing. She came out in the bathing suit and made everybody clap for her. For not being...
The most unhinged.
She's absolutely unhinged and absolutely narcissistic in a way that was so powerful at the time.
And amongst the Oprahs and the Sally Jesse Raphaels. And
do people remember Sally Jesse Raphael? Ricky Lake. At the time, she was one of the last big daytime talk show hosts. Right? Yeah. Right now we just have like Jennifer Hudson. And
Sherry Shepherd, but
Sherry Shepherd? Okay, yeah. But like back then that was a real thing. You were part of the cultural conversation.
Yeah.
So Tyra was deeply embedded in the culture and had earned the trust of a lot of people, but especially black girls. And you will find this to be a pattern throughout the documentary when you're like, every time, if you're a younger person and you don't remember Tyra that way, every time you see a black girl go, I trusted Tyra, and you go, why would you trust Tyra? She's clearly a villain. I want you to understand that we had all been conditioned from birth to view her as one of our indelible icons. And she is.
She was our big sister.
She was, yes.
She was our big sister.
Yes.
Like Naomi, I never felt that with
Naomi. No.
Naomi made sure, like, we're not the same.
No.
Naomi never made an attempt to be relatable. It was always like,
yes,
I'm Naomi Campbell.
Yeah. Naomi was fine with being painted as the villain. Yeah. Tyra was the true villain, but she was the hero. It was like the Under Frozen. It was like, oh no, I didn't know he was a villain.
Yeah.
That was Tyra. The beginnings of Cycle 1. And I've heard all of this about Ken Mock and Tyra and how much they fought for the show to be diverse. They really, really fought so hard to be... They talked about casting Cycle 1 and having a meeting with Les Wexner.
Yes.
And
where they were like, diversity meant you have one person of color.
Of color, yes. And they had a Latina girl in mind. Les Moonves was like, no.
That's enough.
And apparently Tyra fought so hard because she really believed in diversity. And that was one of the most important things to her. And it's like, for me, it was like, that's beautiful or whatever. But like, do we need diversity in the torment nexus? Like, is that just the torment nexus need to be full of black women?
Do you think, like, initially going into it that her intentions were a bit pure? Like, that she really went into it trying to change the modeling industry? You don't think
so? No, I don't think so at all. Because, okay, the initial idea for the show was, let's look at what models do.
Yeah.
Right? And, like, let's follow models and see what they're up to, whatever. And then, at the time, the tone of reality TV was so clearly vicious and exploitative. Like, this is post Flavor Flav. Was this post Flavor Flav? No, this is before Flavor Flav.
This is way before Flavor Flav.
I don't think that she went into it with truly pure. I think her idea was, I need to make my mark again. And whatever way I can do it, I will. I do not believe in these pure... I don't believe it at all. Because if she did, she would have ensured that the girls had some success.
I'd like to think that she initially did go into it wanting to kind of dispel a lot of the narratives with the modeling industry and like try to make it diverse, but also still showing what it actually took to do it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I think she knew that good TV can't be made with a bunch of boring, skinny white women. I think she knew that, like.
I think she genuinely did want it diverse.
I know, for sure.
That's what
I don't think she wanted it diverse because she wanted to show the beauty of how of all the different races. I think she wanted it diverse because I think she can have like a nominal and a tokenistic kind of quality to her. Very Obama, like letting the black boy rub his head or whatever, and also doing war crimes. Like, it's very that. It's very like, I do believe that she was woke for show at the time where it was. That's my personal belief. That's my personal belief, because if she really were about that even a little bit, she wouldn't have treated those girls like that. You know what I mean? I personally think Tyra has a sort of like a hate boner for black girls. I'm sorry. I think she does.
After watching it, for sure.
Yeah.
I think in that, I saw a little bit.
You think she was corrupted by the system?
I think eventually she got to that point, because I don't think she wanted it to be easy for those girls, because I think she wanted to put them through the ringer. But I just think that ringer got way out of hand and way ridiculous once she saw that, like, how much it grew, or like initially, like the success that it had. And I think that just made it.
I mean, I think it made it exponentially worse, but I think even in Cycle 1, you can see how her cruelty and the cruelty of the show really shine through. So let's get into what. Yeah. So they cast Cycle 1, and right off rip, let's actually really talk. I think there's so many things happening in Cycle 1, but I think what really brought us as a queer black podcast here was Ebony.
Of course.
Ebony's story was, to me, is like the perfect intersection of all the cruelties and the sociological implications of the time and that were kind of illustrated on the show.
Yeah.
First of all, Ebony was outed
by Tyra
without her consent. Nobody pulled her aside and was like, hey, girl, is it okay if we talk about your sex? No. And
She walked in the room like, girl, you gay?
We heard you was gay. Oh, you so you doing the bending.
That is wild to me.
Wild. And the thing is, this is the beginning of what they did to Ebony, because Ebony, I think they wanted so badly to prove that she was an angry, aggressive black girl. And the thing about Ebony is she wasn't at all. Mm-hmm. To the point where, like, it was like clearly they were needling her and she wasn't responding mm-hmm. in the way that they wanted her to. And I think that, in the first place, was one way they did, because she took that shit in stride. Mm-hmm. She took it in stride because she was like, "Yeah, I sure the fuck am. Okay, my name is also Ebony. Hi." Yeah. You know what I mean? She really did take it in stride because she did want to be out on the show. They didn't ask her.
She had to make that decision right then.
Yeah.
Like, okay, how are you gonna handle that? Like,
yep.
Okay, sure, yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna talk about it since we're here.
And like, so Ebony's this like beautiful dark skinned black girl with like a closely cropped like natural hair, and very model-esque, right? I'm sorry, like we don't have that much of a shortage of very, very, very dark skinned models with short cropped hair. Like she looked like a model. The way they introduced her on the documentary was they showed it's Tyra talking, and they show all the like pretty little white girls, and they're like, well, yes, you know this kind of beauty, mm-hmm. and this is obvious, but what about the not obvious beauty? And then they show Ebony.
Like, okay, let's give the public what they think pretty is, because you have to meet people where they are. And now let me show you what's not obvious.
And to me, that is wildly disrespectful and also blatantly untrue. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We already had Elecwek out by the time this was, I think. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. Was she out?
Yeah, Elecwek was out, and all the different variations of Elecwek were out. They weren't. But at this time, there weren't really, like, supermodels, right? Like, they weren't supermodels. They were the same supermodels that were left over from the 90s,
Yeah.
There were no new supermodels. But Elecwek was kind of everywhere, especially on runways. Okay. You see a lot of dark-skinned models. There is something to be said. They weren't utilized in a particularly... The way they were utilized smacks of a bit of a... exoticization and imperialism mm-hmm. a lot of the time. You know, it was always like animal skin and like mm-hmm. them standing against a dark background and like all kinds of shit like that. But like they were definitely present. Yes. Yes. But they were definitely present mm-hmm. in there. And like I think to imply that this very thin, tall, symmetrically faced, beautiful woman is
great bone structure.
Like this perfect bone structure is some sort of like, can you see that she is beautiful? It's confusing to me, but it's also pretty standard.
I think they could have used different terms and like worded it a lot differently.
Yeah.
Like this is what the society may consider beautiful. And let's show them like another
kind of beauty.
Another kind of beauty.
This one, can you find it? Is it obvious? No. Obviously not. You can't look at this beautiful woman and say beautiful. She was outed without her consent. And then at one point, so this is the beginning of the makeovers, right? Mm-hmm. The makeovers of Next Top Model.
Which the makeovers are basically just a humiliation ritual. Let's be real.
In the makeover, they're like, Ebony's game for everything. They're like, okay, she had this little puff on the top mm-hmm. of her head, and they were like, oh, we're going to take that puff off, and we're going to make you, like, close-shaven. And she's like, work me. She, like, does not care.
She trusted them. Because this was supposed to be, like, a high-end professional salon.
Yes.
And then they proceeded to not only play in her hair, but the commentary that went along with it of, like, what do we do? Should we carve our initials? Like, they just took some regular clippers that you would use and just...
They had no idea. They just ran it. She had 3 bald spots.
She had bald spots in her hair. She was better. She handled it.
She handled it incredibly
beautifully.
And okay, so they do that, they make those little things, and this though is an indication of something that actually really does apparently happen in the modeling world, even now.
Yeah.
I see like TikToks of the models, the black models in the chair with these white women just playing in their hair and making jokes and and this is something that does happen.
In the modeling industry, I've heard about it in the acting world too.
I've heard about it in the acting world too, yeah.
And like I forgot what show it was, but it was like some big fashion show during Fashion Week that all the black models had fades. Like nobody had hair. And I was like, is that intentional? Are they going like, or is it, it is none of them.
Here comes my tinfoil bonnet. Because I personally think this is what I mean by the dark-skinned, close-shaven models being utilized in a way that is imperialist, right? Yeah. Because a big thing with African, especially in West African tribes, was the hair, the way that it was styled, was a signifier of your tribe. It was a signifier of your place in society. And so during slavery, yes, I'm bringing up slavery in the Tyra documentary. During slavery, the first thing they would do is shave their heads so that no one would have a connection to their culture. Yeah. And to this day, West African schoolgirls, if they are black and they have natural textured hair, they are shaved. It's a requirement that they have their heads shaved to attend school. To this day, it is a practice of imperialism that continues throughout. And then to also have the models have their heads shaved. There is something so... Why is that thread so consistent throughout that you cannot escape? There is something about that feels like it's trying to displace black women's connection to self in a way. And Ebony came with her hair already pretty closely cropped, and they had to disrespect her more. And then how she responded, I rewatched her in the house after, complaining about her makeover. And she wasn't even like, she was very chill about it.
She was making jokes. She was just like trying to grab it. It was very lighthearted. Because I would have been bawling.
I would have been bawling. I would have felt bad about myself in a way. Like, and I personally think they did that shit on purpose. I think they did it on purpose. And I think once they did that, I feel like Ebony was the test subject for future makeovers. Because they were like, well, let's make this genuinely bad, because they built the story around how angry and how like she didn't take it well and she was disrespectful to the staff. They
really painted her whole storyline was she's angry, she's harsh. I wrote down the words.
I wrote down all the words. Aggressive.
Chip on her shoulder.
Loud, difficult to work with. Like, they all the things.
It's like Hollywood was just taking notes on this, like anytime.
Not just Hollywood.
Black people, corporate world. That is how we're now going. If there is a black woman, this is how I'm going to describe her.
That's right. Especially if she disagrees with anything I said.
After they showed the makeover, how Ebony was saying that she got a call from Tyra after the makeover, and how she was thinking that this was going to be Tyra coming to protect her.
Yes. Or at least like, comfort her or acknowledge what she did.
Because she was like, I thought Tyra was going to tell me like, okay, we're going to go up to Harlem. We're going to find you somebody that can actually like do your hair. And this bitch said, they told me you are showing up to set ashy. Ashy.
So this is why I'm like, I do not think she ever had good intentions for this. I do not think she ever had good intentions. I think the whole point was to humiliate and humble her for daring to believe that she could be a model. Like, I really do. And I like the use of the word ashy, especially when you watch the show. Like, did you watch the show, Tamar? Because I did. And that bitch was not ashy. The way they were talking about her skin.
It's like they wanted her to come to set oiled up. Like, let me just put on some baby oil and just
okay, then she did that, and then that was the thing.
The castmates were like, hey, when you do your little routine, can you wash your hands? And then Tyra's use of the word ashy. She knows what that word means.
And she knows what
the
it
connotation
implies.
that implies.
Exactly.
And that is something that is, like, in the Black community. Like, when you see, like, I hate that. I hate that whole trope of, like, seeing dark skin and immediately associating it with ashy. I see a lot of, like, content creators who do that when they're trying to play, like, the stereotypical, like, Black girl and the Black woman. They always make sure they put powder on their elbows, on their knees. It drives me crazy. But it didn't in the Proud family, the Gross sisters, they're blue because they're ashy. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's
The Proud Family is one of those great shows that we all grew up loving that is also deeply problematic and was partially written by Ronald Reagan's ghost. There was also another thing that Tyra said that I, like, on screen. She was like, because they were talking about how her skin was so textured and bad. First of all, her skin was literally perfect. But the way Tyra was like, when you see a Black girl, like dark-skinned Black girls, their skin, it has to be like butter. What is you talking about? Like, to me, that was another one of those things that really hit, because when this show was airing, I had really bad acne. Really bad, to a point where I'm like, you know, my friends used to be like, oh, we could read Braille on your forehead, like shit like that. And my acne was incredibly bad, very obvious. My skin was extremely textured. Ebony had
beautiful
perfect skin, no texture, literally.
They even called her old.
Yes, they were like, oh, when you look at her, you can see, so she looks old. Kimora was like,
I was about to say, I don't get it.
Kimora too. You also, but whatever, you're a victim too. Like she is. But like the way that was clearly the narrative, it was such an example of, I am looking with my eyes at what is real, and I'm being told something else.
Yeah.
And I personally believe that they were the other contestants were produced to act like this, because they couldn't let. I personally believe, maybe my tinfoil bonnet. This was the first one. There was no way they were letting a dark-skinned, unambiguously Black woman, lesbian, be the first cover girl model off of Next Top Model. So they had to destroy her. Yeah. And they had to punish her, because this is another example of, like, how it is to be a queer Black woman in the world. They are going to drive you to be aggressive and angry or whatever, and if you do not respond that way, like, they'll assign it to you.
Yes. Like how she handled everything with grace.
Look at the fight between her and Giselle. It's Giselle being a fucking asshole. I did no shade. And the thing is, she was being an asshole because she's an 18-year-old girl and she's starving and she's an unbelievably
and she's being told that she has a wide
ass. And she's being absolutely just destroyed. Okay, yeah, she's gonna be an asshole, right? And that is indeed what Ebony said. Ebony says, listen, I don't know what because Giselle starts with her and Ebony's like, I don't know what you're going through, but you know what? You're 18. You're acting like an 18-year-old. I don't really have the patience for this. I'm going to walk away. That's literally what she does. And Giselle follows her. And Ebony was cool, calm, and collected the whole time. I would bet dollars to donuts that a producer helped create that situation.
And they've talked about how involved the producers are a lot with feeding them this information. Everything is very controlled and stuff.
When you watch the scene with Ebony and especially the scene where she's talking about the makeover, right? All the girls, despite like to her face, are like, oh yeah, and then behind her back, like Robin's like making faces, and they're all like, and as soon as she leaves the room, they're all laughing at her, and they're just cruel to her for no reason.
It is uneven.
Yeah.
You messed up shaving your head that bad?
And it's very upsetting to an African-American woman to go into a salon and the person to do her hair incorrectly. It is very inappropriate. A person could be violent. I could have been crazy up in there, but of course it's not my personality. An African-American man they had there was there for pieces. He wasn't there for that. That wasn't his technique and his job. It's very interesting. You would think that they would have one person there trained to do everything. The salon was beautiful. The makeup was fabulous. The people were great.
What do I do? What was that? Girl,
it's not a style. It's horrible. It's professional. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I am confused.
Oh my word, you guys are mean. And we know you black. I'm black too. I'm not happy with my hair.
And then Robin said something like, yeah, okay, I'm black and I'm not mad about my, like, okay, you don't think I had something to say about my stuff? And they asked her. They literally, you can hear them be like, so Ebony, I feel the worst for you because what happened to you? And she talks about it and then they make fun of her for talking about it. And I'm like, for all of them to act like that in unison feels produced.
It is produced. So I was watching a interview with Carlos King.
Who's that?
I think it's called Reality Check. I believe it's called Reality Check.
Reality Check.
Yeah, it's like a podcast. He used to work for like the Real Housewives franchise and stuff like that.
Oh, he knows.
So, he knows. And so he did an interview with Takara, who we love, who was not a part of this documentary, after this documentary aired. And she did mention, because on her season in Cycle 3, they were painting Eva out to be a bitch.
Yeah.
And even Tyra even said, yeah, we don't want to have another black bitch in the house or something like that.
Yes.
Remember?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Memory just flushed.
Yes. And so they were doing, like, she was like, every girl that's come in here has said something about you. And Takara said in that interview, the producers backstage are asking you questions and feeding you this information to say something about Eva. She was like, I didn't say anything because she was like, Eva was nice to me. So I didn't have that experience. So, and she kind of framed it as, that interview was a great interview. So I'm going to like put a link here. It's like, it's really great to hear another perspective.
Yes.
I think this was a good example of somebody who like, okay, that wasn't my experience, but I'm not going to negate what you went through, but it's still showing like empathy for the other girls that did go through that.
Yeah, I watched the Takara cycle, and sure, they put her through some shit.
Yeah, and they did, and that's what she talks about. She said, I went through my own stuff. They painted me out like with the clothes
not being the right size, and her saying something.
Yeah, and
that lady being like, well, you need to do something about this.
Yeah, and she talks about that, and she addresses that. Yeah. But I think with her, I think the difference is like she was able to kind of overcome it, and she does talk about like her mindset going into it more differently.
She knew what was up.
She knew what was up.
Okay, fair
She was
enough.
like, I know when they go in here that like they always bring out my clothes last.
Yes.
She's like, she was like, I did feel like they purposely didn't have clothes for me. Like, I know they make clothes for me because I get dressed every day. I have clothes.
I understand that she was more prepared than a lot of girls, and she had the mental and emotional stamina to endure and come out the other side with like fresh new eyes, and I think that's beautiful. But I watched the show. And I watched what Janice Dickinson said about Takara. And I watched how they treated her on that show. And I'm sorry, they weren't good to her.
No, and I think you're missing the point. I'm not saying that they were good to her. She's not saying that it was good.
She's saying she dealt with it very well.
She had her own experience with it. And she doesn't look at it as this very traumatic thing in her life. Yeah. And she also talked about, they didn't call her, they didn't call Yaya, they didn't call Eva, they didn't call Winnie. They didn't call certain people that she felt that may have had more positive things to say for this documentary. And it wasn't balanced. And I mean, you can look at it and say, objectively, it's not a balanced documentary. Not everybody has a traumatic tale from this experience.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all she was saying.
Let me also say that I listened to a podcast called The Curse of the Top Model.
Yeah.
And that podcast goes way more in depth into how the show, Tyra, the producers, the executives, actively destroyed a lot of these girls' lives. I do think that like a lot of times we accept things that are unacceptable, and we may be able to grow from them, but I think the point of the documentary was to balance it out. What it felt like to me was an opportunity for Tyra Apologia that she absolutely swiped away.
Her confessionals were so performative that I was like, I wonder if does she not know what this documentary is about? Or like, it almost made me not feel sorry for her. It almost gave like, is she that delusional where she kind of thought this was something completely different?
The way they teed her up to like throw herself at the mercy of the public and be like, I f***ed up and I da-da-da-da, and she just swatted accountability away every single time.
Because it just seemed so blatant, almost like a written out like monologue of what I'm going to say about this situation or this
and it's
situation.
not what you're supposed to say.
And it's not so much so that I'm like, maybe did she not know what this was about? Or maybe she thought this was something.
Who is producing the new Next Top Model that she was talking about at the end? Spoiler alert, at the end she does say we're bringing back the show.
I thought that was a joke.
No.
I was hoping that was a joke.
I wonder if it's Netflix or one of those reality production companies that are related to Netflix.
I feel like at a certain point, if you on Top Model on cycle 25, baby, whatever happens just happens. Like at a certain point, you got to take responsibility. You've watched the show. You see what they do to these girls. You know you're going on this show. You know you're not getting paid. You've seen the interviews where they have said they left me out to dry. Agencies wouldn't even take my calls.
Like they actively hated on the girls who were on the show.
Like this, and
it's not an opportunity for you.
I feel like I was hearing about this stuff like cycle 4.
Yes, exactly.
So that's why I'm like, if you still thought this was going to be a positive kind of experience around that time, and you still chose to go on this show, it's like I feel bad, but it's like
fair enough. No, same.
You know what I'm saying?
No, same.
Because I had already heard from like cycle 1 that like old girl didn't even get like the prize that she was guaranteed.
Didn't even get the prize money.
Like I remember still hearing a lot of this negative stuff that had come out for years. That Top Model was like very f***ed up, and that there were very few that may have made it out.
But I think if you're going on Top Model now, you were born in 2009. You know what I mean? So you don't actually remember.
Research. Yeah, all of this information is available online.
Google it, baby.
And I don't think there's any excuse for you like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, you can look. We are in the age of information.
Yeah, I know.
You can look this up.
Yeah.
You could probably, you can ask ChatGPT. Should I go on Top Model? ChatGPT would be like,
are you crazy? ChatGPT is designed to agree with you, and ChatGPT would be like, bitch, have you lost your motherfucking mind?
Here's some links for you to do some research. Like, so if you're going on Top Model, it's like, I can almost only feel bad for the girl. Like, there's at a certain point in the cycle where it's like, you're signing yourself up for like, to be humiliated on this show. Yeah. Like, you see what they go through and you see what it is.
Fair enough. At this point, you're just, at this point.
Like, it's not like shit got bad like cycle 23.
No, it was bad. It was bad first, and then it got worse and worse and worse.
And worse and worse. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. So I feel you. I feel you.
But I also feel you too. If everybody had a good time, it wouldn't be an interesting documentary. We wouldn't be talking about it.
But also, if everybody, or we would have a great documentary about how wonderful that show was and all the amazing.
But we all know that's a lie.
They talk about how cycle 1 ended and it was a massive phenomenon. And so, you know, Tyra, the UPN executives, Les Moonves, they're all making bank off these girls' trauma. So they talk about Giselle going home and making little photo cards and be like, the premiere of Next Top Model, come see me on the show. Oh, that poor girl.
And didn't know the edit she was about to get.
I mean, girl.
And I think that is what, like, one, that's what scares me about like
reality TV,
about any type of reality TV, because they're going to expose like any they're going to sensationalize any little part of your personality that they can lack. Like, you're a little whiny, we're going to make you look like the most needy, whiny, immature person on the planet. Yes. In addition to like, oh, you black? All right, off rip.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
You aggressive. Yep. You mean? You got a little sass. You about to be. You either gonna be like just angry black woman, or they gonna make you look like Tiffany Haddish, just silly out the.
You know, I've considered reality TV when the rainbow wasn't enough, but I the edit that I would get.
They're gonna make you seem like they're gonna literally digitize a tinfoil bonnet.
Well, you know what? To be honest,
for government.
To be honest, being in a reality TV show where I'm actually being constantly surveilled might.
They're gonna make you mad.
Have you ever seen Unreal?
No.
Okay, there is a TV show called Unreal, and it's about a bachelor slash bachelorette type show, and it's like about the behind the scenes. It's about the producers of those reality shows, and it's, you know, sensational, obviously, but I feel like whoever worked on Unreal or consulted on Unreal worked on Next Top Model. Because a lot of the things they make them girls go through and the way they talk about how they produce these girls. Yeah. Because you're saying they'll take a small part of your personality. They don't even have to do that. They'll make it up. They will lie to the fuck, and everybody will just go with a narrative.
Yeah, my mind was blown with this, and we haven't gotten to that with Kenya and the damn bagel. How they kept editing, making it seem like she was just eating and eating. And she was like, it was the same motherfucking bagel.
And that's a great example. How they took a skinny girl and said she's fat now. And everybody went, yep, she's fat now. Let's move on to cycle 2. So they show Shandy as an adult now. She looks very different. I would not have recognized her.
I didn't recognize her until they showed the side by side.
Yep, I was like, which I'm sure is not an accident. Honestly, I'm sure she does not want to be recognized. So they have Shandy on. She's she works at Walgreens. She's some small town girl, works at Walgreens. Her thing was that she was supposed to be the ugly duckling, turned into a swan or whatever. And it's like, it's a skinny white girl that you took her glasses off. She was like this good girl, working at Walgreens. It seems like she had come from a kind of unprotected family situation.
Yeah.
I think that's true for a lot of them. I know that's true for Ebony. I know that's true for a lot of them. But like, so Shandy kind of like was on her own, 18. She had this boyfriend. She auditions for the show. And it was the one where they started them walking right off. No training, they just had to walk, and she had a really bad walk, and then they transformed, Miss J transformed her, and da-da-da-da.
She makes it to the international trip when they go to Milan.
By the way, I think this is the first international trip.
Yeah.
This is the first international trip
they kept them girls in Midtown.
For the first one, they were like, your trip is to go to the bagel store. Yeah. There's around the corner.
They wouldn't even let them bitches go to Brooklyn.
Yeah. No. Going on go-sees.
Oh, yeah.
The only way to get around the go-see is these male models on these Vespas.
On these Vespas.
Yes.
And so they do this whole, they have them go to their go-sees. The producers or whoever thought it would be a good idea to invite the Vespa boys back to their model house where they were staying.
For wine.
For wine. And there was a lot of wine. A lot of wine being drunk. Food. She said she hadn't eaten all day.
She said she had at least 2 bottles of wine to herself.
Yes. So they're showing them like having a good time in the hot tub, and the way they edited, making it look like Shandy was just like flirting and like kissing all upon like.
But I feel like you can see that Shandy is like.
But I'm saying I didn't see that. Like I'm saying when we watched it live initially, that's how they were trying to portray 100%. Her. They were trying to portray her as like, oh, she's just having a good time. She's turned into a party girl. She's getting loose. She's kissing all up on him in the hot tub.
Oh, she turned into a real model. Like as soon as you give her a compliment, now she's completely like, it's so clear with the storyline they're trying to create.
Yes.
And she's drunk. She's in the hot tub, and she's with one of the male models, and then. This is very interesting because these people ain't got no excuse. So the rule is when you go to the bathroom that if you're by yourself, the cameras can't follow you.
Yes.
But if you're with somebody else, they can film you in the shower.
And so her and the male model
went into the shower.
Shower. So they're filming this, and we're seeing this.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid,
I remember watching this too.
I was like, oh my God,
Shandy!
This is so scandalous.
Yep. There's footage of her and the male model in bed together. Like they filmed everything happening.
Yes.
It's clear that she's too
drunk to
consent. And the way Shandy describes it is pretty harrowing.
Yeah.
Like she says she was blacked out and she didn't realize until it was happening.
Yeah, I think she woke up during.
Yep, she woke up during it.
At moments.
Yes.
And that was hard. It was really hard to watch that part of the documentary. I know as a kid, I didn't understand that. And I did not understand
This is what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. I did not understand what was happening. Yeah. And at that time, I did not understand consent. I did not understand. As a woman, I did not understand.
I'm going to be real with you. It was the early 2000s. No one
That's what I was about to say. Nobody understands. We have a much better understanding of what constitutes assault now. And at that time, it wasn't getting assaulted kind of had this like imagery of like somebody lurking in the bushes and like a boogeyman.
Yes.
And so now with fresh eyes, we have a better sense of like if someone is too drunk to say yes,
then no. Then
the answer is no.
No, yes. Okay. And so here's another thing about this is because I remember watching this and I remember the phone call that she makes a phone call to her boyfriend. And this is actually like a very famous scene that happened. It was in the preview for the episode. It was the thing that they played before the commercial went out, and it was before the commercial started. It was like him like crying on the phone and being so cruel to her.
You had sex?
Like, you bitch. You bitch, I can't even look at you anymore. Like real harsh. And like the way that phone call happened is so sad because she had apparently been feeling horrible and wanted to talk to her boyfriend for a really long time. They couldn't get her a phone because there are no phones allowed. No phones allowed. You may not talk to anybody. As soon as that shit happened.
Well, no, she said that's what they kept telling her.
Before that happened.
Yeah, that there were no phones available.
No phones,
and she threatened to leave.
She threatened to leave, and then they were like, oh, there's a phone.
Oh, wow.
Look what we found.
A phone. But if we give it to you,
yeah,
you have to let us film it. And at that point, she was just like, all right, fine.
Here's another thing that they point out. Now, okay. We may not have known what consent was. Mm-hmm. We may not have recognized what happened as assault. But the producers did. Because they immediately took her to the hospital. Mm-hmm. After they finished filming what happened to her, they took her to the hospital. That, to me, indicates, like, you knew. Mm-hmm. You knew something.
You knew this was wrong.
You knew this was wrong. And, like, they keep being like, well, we're a documentary. Oh, we can't. The camera.
This is not National Geographic. You're not filming, like, a baby, like, animal about to get eaten by a buzzard and you don't want to intervene.
Like, this, you produced this. You produced this moment to happen. At some point, your responsibility as a human being needs to come over your responsibility to UPN.
Like, and even if you don't have that more, we're the lawyers. Like, why wasn't a lawyer being like, yo, y'all might want to intervene with this?
No, because the lawyers know that UPN's lawyers are going to be bigger than any lawyer that will represent this girl who works at Walgreens.
Oh, God, that's true.
Like, this is another thing. Top Model is such a, like, that's why I say before Squid Game there was Top Model. Because Top Model was a perfect example of how exploitative this entire like system was. Yeah. It really did put on display how they like extracted value from these very poor girls from really difficult backgrounds, like wrenched them out, put them through hell for the entertainment of the masses, and threw them to the wolves.
Yeah, and unfortunately it was like that with a lot of reality TV at that time.
Yes.
I can think of a lot of other reality TV shows watching girls get blackout drunk, and like it's super problematic. This whole like the reality check, I'm sure it's not going to stop with like Top Model. Like we need to get some real world in here. Like
real world. When we get to baddies.
I mean, I think we know that's problematic now. Like we can watch that.
But what we know, that thing about what we know and what's going on behind the scenes, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah.
But like all of those and then like when they did talk about like how it was kind of a combination of like Survivor and then it turned into like Survivor meets Fear Factor.
Tyra said with her own evil mouth. Do you remember that becoming like an early meme? Like her crying, like you remember like at school we would recreate the phone call and stuff, and it's very interesting because I feel like I have to apologize to Shandy for the way that I was a part of that. We used to make jokes about it. We used to do me and my friends used to do the phone call.
No, I didn't do that, but I'm not surprised because back then it was like we slut shamed like
my God
crazy.
Yeah, my
back
God.
Then,
yeah,
you know. Yeah. So like even then, I remember watching it and I was like, well, you shouldn't have cheated. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like, I
Yes.
had no
Yes.
remorse for that.
She even said that she would be walking hand in hand with her man.
And people would, like, stop and call her slut or, like, whatever like that. It was a rough time to
What
be.
they did to that girl.
It was awful.
Awful. And then she ended up working back at Walgreens again.
And then, when Tyra had her on her show.
Oh!
The Tyra show. Remember we told you Tyra show was really unhinged.
Yeah.
And Shandy had told Tyra she hadn't seen the footage. And hadn't
she
seen it. And said she didn't want to watch it. And Tyra was like,
that's
great.
Let's put it on the jumbo screen.
Look at that monitor.
Like evil. And then she had her head down. She didn't want to watch it. And after the clip ended, Tyra was like, hey, why didn't you want to watch your assault?
I noticed you weren't watching.
The documentary does focus a lot on Mr. J, Jay, and Nigel, right?
Yeah.
Cycle 2 is the introduction of Nigel Barker or whatever, and the show had blown up, and the Jays tell this story about how they were walking with Tyra in Times Square, and somebody was like, ooh, Beyonce! And they were like, no, that's not Beyonce, that's Tyra Banks. You know how I know? Because that's Miss J and Mr. J. And Jay, Mr. J is in the camera on the documentary like, I knew that was going to not be good. And I know her. Switched in Tyra. And that's when her villainy went amped up. And she was like, those motherfuckers are gonna pay. They're gonna pay forever upstaging Tyra. And they even played this clip of her being like, sometimes they get recognized before me. With blood coming out her eyes.
I love the Jays. They were my favorite part.
All right, I love the Jays too, and I loved Nigel too. Miss J was my favorite part of the show. I thought she was so iconic. I think early kind of like gender warrior, mainstream gender warrior, Miss J. Absolutely incredible for the show, but also said and did and participated in a lot of the stuff that we are talking about. Yes. Same with Mr. J. Yes. He was, we can blame Tyra a lot. And
we will.
We do, and we will, and we should.
Yes.
But those three a lot of the cruelty came from their mouths, happened in front of them, was exacerbated by their comments, and they dodged the out of accountability in that mother.
I feel the exact same way. I feel like Miss J, not even close. She was like, yeah, that's what she said.
That's what they did. No, I guess if that's what they said.
I said she walked like she on crack. She did.
Yeah.
You know, like did not give a.
Yep.
And I feel like Mr. J was all like, oh, that was Tyra. Fuck you, Tyra. That was on Tyra.
Or
I know I was the creative director for this shoot. Yes. But I was listening to Tyra.
Or he'd be like, I think if you watch closely, you can see how I was so uncomfortable. And then they play the clip and he's like, now, girls, we're going to chop you up and put you in sludge. Like, bitch, no, bitch. You were gleeful. You were taking that check.
Complicit.
You are complicit, mama.
Just
Same
complicit.
with Nigel. Same with Nigel looking at the photos and being like, oh, she's an ugly fucking horse. Good for her. Like, come on. You hoes have got to be kidding. And just because you are also victims does not mean that you're not also villains.
I have been feeling the same because Tyra has been catching a lot of heat, and like they just as bad.
The documentary frames it like the three of us were so put upon by evil Regina George, and it's like, why were you hanging with Regina George?
Why were you? And then the whole thing with, I'm sorry, I know we said we would come back to it, but like the whole thing with Mr. J was like, I had enough. My soul was like, I had to leave. I realized what we were doing was wrong. And then Tyra got mad at me, and then I stayed on for another 5 seasons.
Like, not 5, 9 cycles.
9 cycles. I can't do math. I stayed on for another 9 cycles.
You were real.
But I hated every second of it.
It was so horrible. And it's like, but I do feel him because he did mention like, okay, I was scared that I would be blacklisted. Like, and if anybody go blacklist someone, I know Tyra will.
And I think too, like just how like the girls had that stigma of like being a top model girl. I'm sure that carried on to them too.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Like, oh, you was on Top Model? You did the Greek salad photo shoot? No, we good. We good.
I also feel like Tyra whatever. My tinfoil bonnet is that Tyra didn't want to, she wanted to make sure that anyone with the personality and the look and the kind of like cool factor and star factor that could have come behind her, she wanted to make sure that she squashed them careers right off rip.
Yeah. You're not about to be, I want you to,
Danny.
It was kind of like, you can make it, but you can't be bigger than me. Like, that's
not even. I think she was like, I'm going to make sure you never make it. Like, especially with someone like Danielle, who absolutely could, especially with the Gap, had the high fashion look that could have absolutely, she could have,
she would have passed Tyra.
She would have, yes.
And she didn't want that. Because she couldn't have that.
She couldn't have, that's my, maybe I do.
And then if you do make it, I'm going to take credit for that.
That's
because
right.
Because that was the beef that Winnie
But even
had.
worse, yes.
That's what Winnie was like, Top Model didn't do anything for me.
She said, in fact, it was way harder to get through the door. She changed her name.
Every single model that has come out of it.
Was a miracle.
Even the ones that were successful, even with Takara, she was like, I made it successful, but it was hard as shit.
Yes.
Being
also,
from Top Model.
Also, Takara was one of the most stunning beauties in the world. Another model that I genuinely believed could have been one of the biggest, most known names, especially in the very nascent time of the plus size modeling world.
I mean, she was very much black famous.
Sure, she was black famous. But I think she had the potential to be...
I think she did, but maybe we just weren't aware, because she did talk about, like, as soon as she got eliminated from the show. Have you heard of Ashley Stewart?
Yes, she's got an Ashley Stewart
Ashley Stewart. She did Italian Vogue. She's been doing all that.
Yes. If she had never gone on the show, I think there is a possibility that she could have been one of the biggest models of all time.
I think she was probably one of the first to kind of see it as, and she talks about it. Not necessarily that she was the first. She talks about, like, I don't think she went into it thinking that she would win.
I don't think so.
She wanted
exposure.
She wanted exposure, and she took advantage of that.
When Danielle talks about the way that that knowing you were on Next Top Model would put your thing not from the bottom of the pile right into the garbage. I think without the show, without the stain of the show, Takara she had already started modeling, the plus size industry was just getting popping, and she has one of the best faces and bodies I think I had ever seen in my life.
I think, so you think eventually she would have made it on her own?
100%. Her, Danielle, there are a few people that I think, without the show, they would be some of the hugest models in the world right now, and that, in a way, Tyra was kind of filtering out her competition and making sure that they would never make it. Yeah. That's my theory. Because Takara especially, even like Ava Pickford Bursell, like Eva Bursell, like I think there are so many people that like, I'm like, if it weren't for the show, they could have really created something amazing in the modeling world. Personally.
In a situation like Takara, like she was able to work on her own to achieve the success that she had on her own. Yeah. Ashley Stewart, for example, we saw you on the show. We love you. Yeah. We want you on.
Yes.
Because we see, like, she had even though she got sent home because she didn't have personality or whatever.
Isn't
that
they so funny?
But someone else is watching and seeing. Yes. And she even says herself, she was like, I knew all I needed to do was, like, get on TV and somebody would see me.
I agree.
Like, whatever.
I just kind of think Top Model was the wrong thing for her. I think if she had found another avenue, God knows. You
reality TV at the time, it probably would have been a lot of the same experience.
No, I don't think she ever should have done reality TV.
But at that time, that is what was blowing up. Because I want to say, wasn't that around the time like the writer's strike and all that shit? So it was like all these different reality TV shows were coming up. Yes, so if you wanted to get that exposure, you had to do some type of reality TV. Fair enough. Yeah. So I think two things can be true. It's like Top Model was absolutely a hindrance, but for some people, it was able to like elevate a platform.
Absolutely.
Of people who probably would have made it regardless if they would have been on another show.
Think though. Yeah. I think she is one of those people who would have made it regardless.
Yeah.
And I think her, but I think especially Danielle. I will die on this
Even then, Danielle is still like
Danielle's stunningly beautiful.
Fucking gorgeous.
Holy shit.
So they did blackface on America's Next Top Model.
It was a partnership with the Got Milk people. What was that meeting like?
What the fuck does milk have to do with this?
With blackface? They had these hoes suspended in air over a ledge. Everybody gives Tom Cruise all this credit for doing his own stunts, and don't nobody give the hoes on fucking ANTM. They do. People who never met Miss J sending well wishes. And you know who didn't send one motherfucking thing?
Tyra.
Miss Tyra.
She ain't even sent a Tyra mail. She just like...
Jay did not deserve that. But also it's like, bitch, you knew what the it was. You just didn't think it would ever come for you.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yep. You were for the leopards eating people's faces party.
I didn't think the leopard would eat my face.
That's fucking right.